Hi, Erica.
Hello again.
Thank you so much for agreeing to this interview. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Erica. I am from the US, unfortunately, but I've been living outside the United States for about 14 years, most of
Excellent.
that in Thailand and in Indonesia, almost all of that in Asian countries.
Great. And please tell us which languages you perform in.
This year, I achieved the goal of performing in all 6 languages that I speak. They are English, Spanish, French, Thai, Indonesian, and Japanese.
Very impressive. I am flabbergasted. This is incredible that one person can hold such a talent. Congratulations. This is, yes, a round of applause to you.
I know you're halfway there. Just keep going. You'll be there. You'll be there
Six more,
soon.
3 more languages or 4 more. How did you get into comedy?
Right. So I started getting into comedy after a friend of mine invited me to go see her in an improv show. And at the time I thought, what? Comedians are real people? It can be possible that I can know someone who does comedy? Because I had this idea in my head that comedians are all superheroes, super geniuses, celebrities, genetically engineered in a lab. I didn't realize that normal people could be comedians. So I went to see her. She was amazing. Then I thought maybe I can do it too. And I took some workshops, and that's how I got into it.
Okay, wow, amazing. Was that a performance in English or was it already in Asia?
It was, my friend is Thai, but the performance was in English.
How much material do you have in each language?
So
Approximately.
approximately. So in English, I have no idea. It's between 1 and 3 hours, depending on how you vary the quality of it.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. In Thai, I have about 40 minutes. In French, I have about 20 to 30 minutes. In Spanish, probably about 20 minutes. In Indonesian, about 20 minutes. And in Japanese, like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Japanese is the hardest one.
The hardest one. And is this the newest one?
It is the newest one.
Okay.
I made it a goal earlier this year to refresh my Japanese because I studied it 20 years ago in university and I never used it.
You never used it. What motivated you to specifically do stand-up in Japanese?
By then, I figured that I've started riding a train that can't be stopped.
Yeah.
Because the whole doing stand-up in foreign languages, it originally started as a way to get more stage time. Because I noticed at the time I was in Berlin, they had mics in Spanish and in French. And I thought, okay, maybe that's a way to boost the number of mics per week. And then in Thai, there was a moment where there was some fracturing in the scene, and I was wanted to like step away from the English scene for a while, and it motivated me to finally sit down and write in Thai. So that's when I started doing Thai. And then after that, I was like, maybe I'll just keep going.
Wow.
That's how it all started. That's not really what it is now. Now it's really about participating in what is really a revolution, right? Because stand-up is popular in so many countries that you would never expect. And to me, I just find it amazing to go to these countries and see all these people doing stand-up, finding their voice, and then using it to interrogate like cultural beliefs, politics, etc. And so now I do it because I want to know what they're saying and I want to be a part of it.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that principle. Like, it's not just to people listen to you for 10 minutes. So you actually want to be part of this community. This is very selfless. Like, this is, I would say, not standard for a stand-up comedian. Interested in others.
The comedians tend to be extremely attention seeking.
Absolutely. Exhibit A right here. Which language do you feel most creative and comfortable in?
Ooh, it's actually different because the language I'm most comfortable in is Indonesian, but the language I'm most creative in for writing is Thai. That's mostly because like none of the jokes that I have in English translate into Thai. So it can be possible to translate them into English or Spanish, but in Thai they just sound so clunky and they're about topics that don't resonate. So Thai is the language where it's like, okay, everything I've ever written, bye. Let's write something new.
Love it. So what are some of the topics you talk about in Thai and Indonesian?
Well, in Thai in particular, a lot of it is just unique experiences that I've had in Thailand. In particular, trying to date Thai men, which is something that maybe not so relatable to everybody else, but in Thailand, they understand the dynamics, they understand like the way you chat online, and they understand Also a lot of cultural references, like if you go see certain movies or sing songs.
They probably see it from another perspective, foreigner perspective, right?
Exactly.
Love it. What is your creative process? How do you write?
Well, I usually write by starting out with ideas of things that I think are funny.
Fun.
And as it goes, all of those things usually do terribly on stage, but they wind up starting a process going that leads you down a rabbit hole to things that are actually funny.
Okay. What is like the thought process, maybe?
So I do a little bit more now because the question obviously is like, what questions will people have when I start talking about this topic?
Right.
And what assumptions do they have? What is their experience with a certain topic? Last year, I started, so I travel a lot, and sometimes I wind up in countries where there is no stand-up unless I produce a show. And so what I started doing last year is doing comedy workshops for digital nomads whenever I'm in a place that's like a hub for nomads.
Aha.
And that really forced me to, like, because when you only have a finite time to get people ready to do a 5-minute set in a few weeks, you really have to say, okay, write about this, this, and this, it'll be funny. And actually, as soon as I realized the types of things to coach them on, I was like, why don't I do this myself? Because there are certain topics that are gold mine. There was this one question prompts that I gave them, which is, what is something that was normal in your family growing up, which is not normal for any other family? I was like, like I should write about that. So I did, and it got me a new 10 minutes.
Okay. How do you recover from bombing?
Well, I have a tradition that I started in Bangkok because we have many mics here, which are really just, I would say, they're to practice bombing more than practicing material.
Okay.
So you bomb a lot. And I just developed a tradition of after the mic, I would hop on a motorbike, put in some like really nice songs, and then just like coast through the city. And it's just amazing seeing like the lights at night, the wind in your hair, listening to music and thinking, I'm happy to be here. And I have to have gratitude for that moment.
That sounds very therapeutic.
It is, because otherwise your mind will just go in circles, overthinking things. And the overthinking is productive, but there's a point where you need to say, stop, move on.
Do you have any taboo topics?
I personally don't really like talking about sex. And I know that this is the bread and butter for basically every single comedian.
Definitely. Yes.
But I try to differentiate myself because I feel like it gets to a point where being clean is radical. Because everybody, especially in Bangkok, they're trying so hard to be edgy, to one up each other by being as filthy as they possibly can.
Yes.
That if you have someone come on stage, no swear words, no sex, the audience goes, I like it.
That's edgy. That's the new definition of edgy. That's actually edgy.
Very like Gen Z appropriate definition of edgy, because I know the younger generation is already getting in the feeling of like, I don't want to go out, I don't want to drink.
And that's refreshing, I think. This kind of comedy, you as a persona, this is refreshing in the comedy scene. I love it.
Thank you.
Good. All right. And is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
I'm working on polishing up my hour.
Uh-huh.
We're taking around various countries in Asia. The tentative title is The Worst Slice of Bread. And if you want to know what that means, then you'll have to come check out the show.
Yes.
But also in terms of projects, I am looking at adding more languages. I'm in the process of learning Mongolian right now.
Wow. Okay. Very good.
Yes.
Good.
Because I went to Ulaanbaatar a few weeks ago, and I was so inspired by the comics there. They have one of the most incredible scenes I've ever seen in any country I visited. And the comedians there are really good, and they're also kind of famous.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I really want to know what they're saying, and just I think it would be cool to be a part of that, even for a moment. So I'm working on that. There comes a point where you have so many languages in your head, your brain is like, no more.
I try to take it in weeks or months. Focus like 2 weeks on this material, the next 2 weeks, the next one, kind of like this. All right, so let's follow Erica at Erica Hates Fun.
I would appreciate a follow for anybody who's watching, because I try to post a lot of multilingual content, and I learned that the algorithm punishes polyglots.
Oh.
It's almost designed to be confused whenever you post something in multiple languages. I would like to beat the algorithm, and I would like to show people that it is possible to do stand-up comedy in other languages, and also that stand-up comedy exists in so many languages around the world. I'd appreciate anybody who wants to follow me along in that quest.
Thank you so much, Erica, for being with us today. Let's follow her on Erica Hates Fun and follow her journey. Thank you.